There is no denying that we live in an era dominated by technology. And with children spending more and more time on screens, there's a general concern that they are getting hooked or addicted. Today we discuss raising our children, parenting in the digital age, and how we as parents, as a community, as adults, can effectively help or guide our children to draw the positives out of it. So, there is no denying, like, let's be honest here, we've all exposed our children to phones and iTabs and tablets and laptops and whatever gadgets there are these days, not really productively, yeah? And productively as well. So my question is, like, at what age did you expose your children to gadgets, and these gadgets, like these devices, mostly handheld devices?
So I actually find that question interesting because, like, you started off by saying we are in the digital era, which means we are on our phones, there's TV, like at any one point in our homes. I feel like he was exposed from like the word go. But for him to like actually start using it and like tapping and all, I think he probably was maybe 2 years old. Towards 2 years old. I think I've said this on the show before, he's very musical, so he's attracted to anything singing or any musical sounds. So he would probably get the phone and then just start playing, tapping and seeing, and then exploring. So over time, he will go to the phone mostly for music, actually a lot for music. And then what we did is we exposed him to more productive things on the phone. So learning the alphabet. There are all these apps that I'm guessing we're going to talk about later on in the show. But yeah, about 2 years old.
We did, I think, 4 years old because of, anyway, you know what I mean, early childhood development. No, and when I say exposed, I'm saying this was the intentional purchase of a digital device for the kids. But even for us, like, we wouldn't allow them to touch our phones or whatever.
Very good.
We only did that like from the 4th birthday, like it was a Christmas present, when Blake turned 5 and Bianca had turned 4. We bought for both of them tablets, and that's been a part of their lives. But the reason for that was because of my early childhood, let me say, knowledge or background, for them to explore their entire environment physically. So to see things, to touch things, to play outside too, because like we all know, immediately they get in, their addiction does come. So for us, it was very, very, very big on them engaging with their environment right from the time they were born. So I would say that, like us, it was 4 years. Yeah.
I can't speak for my children because the truth is, back then, phones were not accessible. When I say digital age, we immediately run to the phone, not necessarily telly or whatever. But even with television, it was very controlled. Very controlled, because we lived in a flat, so you had to ensure that the children had their space. Yes, the telly was there, but then they had the hours in which they would watch them. I don't have 2 children or 1 children, I've got 4. So they had people who they could engage with each other. I could speak for what I have seen over the years. Even when my children were younger, my dad always said, children should not touch parents' phones. Children should not. And when I see parents give phones to their children,
you cringe.
I cringe, because the next thing is this child is going to go and touch a visitor's phone. And then they break it. And then the mom, sorry, Chantal has broken the phone. But you just broke my iPhone, God knows what. And I can't replace it, the child can't replace it, and then maybe the mother is a friend. Then you put people in a really awkward situation. That said, in terms of phones, I think it was 12 years. Because Asante got her phone when she was 12. The boys maybe even much later. You have your Katochi, and I mean, that is still digital, but at least they're not going onto all sorts of apps. As I said when we were speaking about child development, adults speaking to children as adults
Versus children.
Exactly. I insist, children will speak. Whether you speak to them as a child or not. Just like I know it's very interesting when you notice your child is able to identify all these apps and things like that, but they will get to learn how to use these things. You don't have to, they shouldn't be using them too early.
Actually, scientifically, they know. That's how it is. Because they are the most, as long as your child is under the age of 8,
yes,
they are the most technologically savvy generation.
Is it?
Because that's a whole generation. It's called the alpha generation. Like technology has aided.
Yes.
For them, their lives are infused.
Are going to be infused.
They are infused already.
Is
like,
it?
It's not, that's why they will get their phone and they'll just know what to
hold on, can you explain that to me? Apart from the children who are living in the urban areas, which is like a really small percentage, any child below the age of 8, how would it already be infused into?
It's because at the point of pregnancy, someone was already using a phone. Someone's like you're on your phone like this. So there's light coming to the child, there's sounds, there's waves. Immediately a child, they're already picking.
That's what you meant by
picking.
Okay.
And so by the time they come out, they already know the sound of a phone and they have an idea already of it. So for them, they are technologically infused. It's inside, like it's just in fact, holding back a device from them is like, I keep making this joke, but it's like the way we were in school, university, campus, S6, 19 years of age, and our parents were telling us you can't have a laptop. Go and read for Maji Maji Rebellion. And then this guy of Face Smash, at that age, was inventing Face Smash. So that's exactly what's going on.
I think that the reason parents expose their children to gadgets at a very young age, apart from the fact that we are in the era of digital innovation, I think most parents, and this is not an excuse, are looking for a way to distract their children. So parents are busy, maybe they are single mom, they are looking for, I want to clean the house, or I want to organize, so have the phone, get off my back. But there's a deliberateness that you've each talked about that we're going to explore a bit more in the show, that I just wanted to highlight that a lot of parents, it's distract, stop disturbing me.
That's
sort of
really
thing.
what it is. And for me, guilty mom. I remember, so when we say exposure, I'll be honest, I remember that 1 year to between 1 and 3 years, okay, maybe it ran for a year, but maybe like the 1.5, when Terrible 2, like that, Terrible 2 was starting, and then he just couldn't, I don't know, for some reason, it's the gadgets that would keep him grounded, engaged. He was an outdoor child, really, but outdoor meant I was a single mom. I had a child running around. I had no house help. I come back and I just need some time, to do my own personal things, and some time to cook, prepare this dinner, and do things that for him, if anything, but I can't do when he's around me, when he's in my space. So I was guilty mom, maybe from after a year, and maybe till 2.5. And then I realized what was happening, and I decided, so that there was a deliberate action to wean him off all those things.
It's good you've said that.
More,
aware
of one, the dangers, but not so much the dangers, but now maybe even free time. Maybe I became balanced also a bit, and so we started now to engage even more. So there was a distracting time, and for mine was entirely distraction. So we started to wean him off, and then maybe reintroduce, and mine also, you don't use my phone. If you're using my phone, we are seeing together. What are you looking at? We are seeing together. But not to hand you my phone and he asked
for permission. That's very correct.
There was a survey back in 2017 in the US that said about 40% of kids had their own gadgets, and that was up from 7% back in 2013. If those stats were relayed here in Uganda, so why would these stats, if they were relayed in Uganda, be worrying to parents?
Okay, maybe to parents, but for me, in my mind, if 40% of Ugandans children had
their own gadgets,
no, we can be rich.
We have money.
I was just say like
Yes.
this, I would say like this to all Uganda
Yes.
parents that you are the
Money.
winner, you are man.
But it's another sad thing that the
Yeah.
people who don't
It's
have
expensive.
spend on the most useless things.
For sure.
But
for sure.
no,
To keep up, maybe for more.
Hey, Mama,
You
when
know?
things pass, tabs were 100K the other day. So in light of that, that actually can happen. I remember there was edu tabs 200K, 100K.
Yeah.
We really might get into this statistic.
Very soon.
And it can actually be the case in Uganda. What my worry would be is I feel like as a country we've not yet understood early childhood,
Yeah.
and then what this fourth revolution of digital era means for us as a people and as a so we look at technology as, you know, for distraction and all of that stuff. So we don't know how to positively use it. So if I had that statistic here in Uganda, I would be so sad because I'm so sure we're not using it right. We're not using it positively. It's not going to take our country to the next level for
At
sure.
all.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because we are very good at going abroad, seeing kids have edutabs, seeing kids,
And then you
we
want to come
don't
back
know
and
that this-
replicate.
you want to come and copy and paste. What you don't know behind
Is
is
the context.
those ends. They have had relationship with their children. They've been reading books with their children. Their children read a
Yes.
book every night. Like those children are very different from our own
Yeah.
our own children.
Yeah.
So if you come with that mentality of copy and paste, and
Which
bring
we
it
do
on
quite
here,
a lot.
which we do,
Yeah.
and we do quite
Transferring
well.
of ideologies
We do really
without
well.
really understanding them
Yeah.
is a
That is-
terrible thing.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with phones per se is children don't learn to discover themselves and the world around them. So somebody has so many friends and followers on Instagram, but they have no real best friend. You don't know how to interact with your friend, that, you know, it's not always just about the likes and the this, that we can have an argument, that it's okay to have an argument, it's okay for us to sit and look at each other face to face. You go to a party, this one, the other one, then they're like, hey, mom, we were hanging out. With who? You get, and the thing is that we're doing it ourselves, because sometimes we can go out for dinner and then maybe a client, you know, but Bagole have to be answered immediately. Then you're like, you know what? Let me just quickly do this. But most times, just put your phone on flight mode and connect with human beings, you know, connect.
Just an addendum to your point.
Yes.
I think that with us, like the older people, we learned, or rather we grew up in a time when there were no phones. So we had a chance to connect and make friends. We had that foundation.
Yes.
So with these guys, they don't have that foundation. So you see how we are always complaining, oh my gosh, we only check on people on Facebook, we don't have real relationships.
Yes.
We have a bit of a foundation, but our children don't.
Yeah.
So they are forging relationships
With fake people.
exactly. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
because
add
Yes.
that.
many times on social media, you're not your real
Your real
self.
Maybe your
self,
real
Yeah, usually.
Okay,
you don't
apart
check
from some of us.
apart from some people, but like for their era where they are at right now,
Yeah.
if at age 1.5 you are introduced to a phone, or to television or to any technological device,
Yes.
that you didn't have the time to interact, you know that terrible tools that you're talking about is an opportunity to deal with their emotions. That's
Exactly.
what terrible tools
are
for,
about.
for
Yes,
them
trying
to
to
understand that
express
this is
themselves.
anger, this is frustration,
Yes.
this is sadness, this is disappointment. So they don't know those negative emotions, and that's why abroad there's so much depression, because they
Yes.
didn't work through those negative emotions.
Yes.
There was a device put before them. So
Yes.
now imagine they don't even now have even a friend. So there is that depression, and on top of that, you don't even have
You don't
someone.
have
At least for us, even if you're so technologically, someone will check on you. Hey,
How
hi,
are
how
you
are you?
doing?
Then you
Yes.
reply and say, I'm not okay. But for
yes.
them, they don't have their friend, and then they've not even dealt with these emotions. So that's how you have
should be worried.
high suicide rate.
Yeah, we
high-
really should.
Very correct. Because now that you mention it, I remember Asante is always telling me, I mean, not with all my friends, but because of the nature of the work that I do, the time when most of my friends are free is when I'm working. Meaning along the way, I have somehow lost on some of this big chunk of people. But I keep telling her that because on social media, hey, it's instant. Are you good? Good. People aren't seeing your emotion.
face,
They're not
yes.
seeing your face. Yet with us, I have my friends, we see each other once in 2 years. But the second they call, or the second something happens, I will drop everything to come be with you, because that is the way our relationship is based. But Asante will say, Mama, you say so is your best friend, but you don't see them all the time, because social media means you're talking to say, hey, morning, what's up? But you're not actually meeting.
Selfies.
And selfies. Yet when you interact with people, the truth is at this time you cannot be interacting with your friends every single day. But in my case, I believe when you have great social skills, where you stopped is where you start.
For sure.
But with these ones, as you said, their emotions, they don't know how to deal. When you're unhappy, you just block someone. In those days, they put you in the corner.
What are you blocking? I'm here.
You're blocking who?
Even that, on top of that, like the social disconnect also, on that front, it makes people less empathetic to other people because of that exact thing that you're saying, because you're not reading emotions of somebody, so it's like you're dealing with a robot, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like so you don't also learn how to empathize and be human also towards other people. People are real, right? They have real emotions, they have real interests, real, like everything is, but for you it's like, now I'm with a robot. But my real issue is it promotes a kind of sedimentary lifestyle. Me being more of an extrovert, I like to be out there. Like I like to connect with, I like physical activity. Physical activity is so important. But I feel like if you're somebody's, and even adults, guys, you're there with your phone, with your laptop, with your tab, with your, what are those things called? Of books, the e-books, Kindles, and all those things, right? Yeah. A physical activity that has been aborted because people have decided to pick on their phones, and they're playing games on their phones, video games now. Instead of playing football, our sons are playing soccer, FIFA, with their video games. So
and then they think they're really good.
And they think they're really good. Actually, yeah, you can.
I'm a good soccer player.
I have the highest score. Yes. There's even that achievement of something that's of air. There's no real achievement. So that already we are suffering with things like obesity and weight gain and everything to do with that. Already we are fat. Now we are going to get fat. Even visual impairment. There must be an impact.
There must be something to it.
Now, never look at ladies with flat stomachs. You don't have money.
We don't have phones.
But now that you mentioned that, my problem with phones also is that they seem to be like a shortcut to everything. Asante was learning to play the piano. Next second, she wants to play it off the phone. Because it is too hard.
Oh, okay, that's
so I think there's a way to leverage what's on the phone, because just like there is our traditional education system where people sit in class, there are also apps and tools that parents can use on the phones to help their children learn. Yes. So I think even if she wants to learn on the phone, there has to be a translation from the phone to the real piano. Is that what she's asking for, or she just wants to use
abandon?
It's like, for example, most so-called pianists today play the synthesizer. They're not playing like a real piano where you're using the pedals and you're learning how to do things the authentic way. Exactly. So first she wants to learn 2 weeks.
Innovation.
That's innovation.
My question is, when she finds...
Why are you still driving a manual car and yet they're automatic cars? And then my response to them is, but then you're not really driving your car, but aren't we all getting from A to B?
That's correct.
Your life difficult?
You're not making your life difficult.
It's good you've given that example. Once again, because we are transplanting things from a different world. What happens in a situation whereby this African girl who's learned how to drive a manual car ends up in Kitgum and her job asks for a manual?
That's what you mean.
You get it? We are not yet at that point where we can say that, fine, we shall use technology without bringing out those basics that will help us survive.
For sure. And I think one of the other things that is very critical even to kids at that age, the toddlers, is using technology impairs focus and attention. Yeah, so if they keep using the phones because they are distracted and they are just there passively 2 hours on the phone, when you have to sit in class and listen to the teacher or do your work, it's I'm bored.
Exactly.
Can we just do something more interesting?
To like supervision or moderation.
For sure.
That distraction that it is. I think it can be good. Well, I read, and this was for me a shocker because my son likes video games. But then when I analyzed, I realized like the adults I know who play video games might kind of have the same trait, something I noticed. When I read the research that was done said that children who play video games, who have grown up playing video games regularly, have 30% more likelihood to make decisions, better and faster decisions than those who do not. And when I thought about it, because I played
faster,
video games before,
yes, but
faster
better
and better decisions, yes. So
Analytical,
they remove bias.
Yeah,
See, the problem with
remove
human nature is that what makes you fail to make a decision really is there is a bias about what might happen, what might not. So you draw yourself back, even if you know that it might be the right decision to make. But
isn't that what
yourself,
makes us human?
which is fine, yes, but you see somebody's getting there faster than you are and more effectively than you are.
And in
because when you're playing, you have a decision to either do or die. End of story. So it like clears your mind that you know what, you are when I think about it, the people I know who have had, of course not the slobs couch potato who are always on the video games. I'm not talking about those ones. But those I know who have kind of interacted with these games, FIFA, scoring a goal, things like that.
Yes.
I see them kind of make decisions much quicker.
Especially
their competition levels are quite high. So I remember we talked about last, in the education. We talked about competition in schools, and I was saying that I kind of speak from a place of privilege because my children are just like they're constantly competitive, but that's also because of the technology. So what games are they exposed to that are then making them compete? Like they're trying to get to accomplish the task as quickly and as fast as they can. So there's certain things about technology. So one thing is my daughter will probably not climb Mount Everest today.
Okay.
Right? She might not do it in the next 3 years, but she can do it on phone. You understand what I mean? The problem is when the Mount Everest really comes, Will she? No, chill. She will be interested and actually think it's as quick as the phone. So the thing is, for now, for me to be able to see what are the lessons that she learns from climbing Mount Everest. It's endurance. Some of them are physical, some of them are mental. What technology does is give us that shortcut to accomplish the mental one, but not necessarily the physical one. So when she comes and tells me, Mommy, guess what? I was the best. I was doing a race and I was the fastest. Mom, check, I was the fastest. I said, but you can't drive like that in real life because if you do, then you will get crushed. But let's watch a game let's watch Formula 1 this weekend. So she sees it in a more professional view. So there's a lot of intentionality on the place of the parent to the point that now you realize, no, just giving my phone is not just about giving a phone. Immediately now they're on rest, now you're in Formula 1. I didn't have any interest. Before I know it, I'm there telling Brian, is there a race? Is this child going to race? Now let them go. So they know the real dangers. But now they're seeing life in a more 360 view. And you've incorporated technology in them, or in the entire process for them. So I feel like there is some huge benefits of having technology.
Oh yes, and I think even as we begin to tie this up in a neat bow, how can we as parents help our children?
Hold on before you tie it in a neat bow. In my house, when I started putting Wi-Fi, because we got that, unlimited, I would never see my babies. Now, I put 1 GB. The second 1 GB gets finished. Hi, Mom, what's up? And you see, everything we're saying is, like you said, they're going to be, they'll make better decisions. I think when it comes to, work. But work takes up only a certain bit of our life. But these are the same people who make very harsh decisions when it comes to being parents, when it comes to be lovers. You understand? So you're watching on telly and saying, you get groovy with a girl, you picture. Then all of a sudden you make love for the first time and you're like,
you mean?
What was this? But yeah, if you want your children to come close to you in your house,
put 1 GB.
Put 1 GB. Every 30 minutes, they'll be like, hi, Mom. Okay, finish what you were saying.
Tie it in a neat bow.
Yes. So how do we help our children use digital gadgets in a healthy, I guess, and balanced way?
Be a role model. Is
Yeah,
my-
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was
Mine
going
is
to
be a
say.
role model
Yeah.
because I see the same people complain that this generation, they're always on their phones, on their tabs, they always screen time. They are
They are
also
the
doing
same
the exact
people.
same thing.
Yes.
And mom was saying, no, don't ask me for my phone. He's always on the phone herself. She's driving while texting. She's walking while texting. She's walking like, I've seen a woman one time who almost entered the ditch. She was holding her child meanwhile, but she was
Away
walking like this
on
on the
the
phone.
phone.
And that's the same mom who's going to restrict her child any access to the same gadget. So for mine is like, be a role model. And you are your children. They are copycats.
Yes.
Even
Mirror
what you're
image of
using your
yourself.
phone for. If you're going to binge watch a YouTube or a series, that's what they're also going to want
Do
to
as
do.
well.
Same.
Yeah.
True.
Mine is if you can also be constructive in the quality of access that you have of information that you use your phone for,
yeah,
or your
they will
gadget
copy
for,
that as
it
well.
will also feed back into
your
what the
children.
child, and limit yourself. If you can limit yourself, when it's family time, it's family time.
Yeah.
It's gadget time. Let's sit together.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
doing?
Yes,
Of course, these are for the younger children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for I use exactly this. I feel exactly the same way, and I even add in more some. So for a long time, I always was like those parents who are just like, no, children shouldn't have access and all of that stuff. But Brian would say to me, but you're always on your phone, and I didn't get it until I put an app on my phone to see my phone usage.
Yes.
Yo, like there are 24 hours in the day. How is it that I'm on my phone for 20 hours? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Me, I thought I slept last night. So it's very deceptive. You need an actual tracker on your phone to tell you how much time you're using on your phone. So now when I got that, I was like, okay, fine. Now my kids, in line with this role modeling, is we watch what I'm watching.
Yes, like
So that
you
they
said.
know the right use of the technology.
Yeah.
So if I'm on YouTube, I'll tell them, oh yeah, I got a message, a WhatsApp from Auntie Pumla. She says this is the topic we're discussing. So I kind of want to see what everybody else says about it. So I'm going to check on YouTube because those are the videos, and
Yes.
it's fast, but it takes a lot of your MBs. So we watch together. Then they would go down and scroll and say, maybe this lady has something which is nice to say. You know what I mean? So we
Yes.
engage so that I show them the right way of
Yes.
using it. Now the thing about, for example, the app that I have that marks my phone usage, is it closes the app. It tracks, like it shows you a timer. So they would be there and say, hey, mommy, it's becoming orange. It's about to go off.
Oh,
Mommy,
that's a nice one.
Then red, and then immediately the zero, off. I'm like, oh man, now
Until
we
next
are
time.
off. So maybe
But
we'll
that's
try
that's
tomorrow.
a good one.
And the next day they say, hey, mommy, we need to check. Did you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So then they know that a phone is supposed to have a tracker
A
and it should be
limit.
timed, and
Yes.
it should be, if I'm increasing that timing, even Bianca will tell me, it's not closing. If I've like bypassed the system, like
Yes.
because when you're coming to record, I usually have to bypass the system so that I can have a longer time on WhatsApp while we discuss. Although
What app is that? I think
she has
I
an app.
need that because me, I can build, you're with your clients, you finish the ones of Uganda, then you get the ones in the UK, in the US. So you're on the phone, before you know it, it's 5 o'clock. And your phone, in my case, put 1 GB.
No, but then you buy again. You see that thing?
Yes, but then at least put 1 GB. Then I get to a point where I'm like, guys, we've loaded 5 times. That is it. That's my basic way
your basis,
of doing it. But I need that app.
It's called Your Hour.
Your hour.
Yeah, Your Hour. But you can be stressed when you sing that every week you are addicted. You are more addicted than 30% of the people in the US. If you are more addicted than people in the US, how are you going? Who are you?
Yeah, there's something
Yeah.
wrong.
How?
But that's a
I
really
think-
good one. That's
Yes,
a really good one.
I think for me, two things. One is balance. The other thing is exposing him to things that are, whether it's educational or something that's going to add some sort of value to him. So those 30 minutes will not be, actually when we're reading, they were saying it's pretty much like having a balanced diet. Having, say 1 kg
Outdoor
of chips
time.
and 1 kg of veggies is not the same thing. They're both 1 kg, but they're not the same thing. So if he's spending 30 minutes on the phone and he's maybe learning how to draw, he's shedding something, or he's learning letters or phonetics or whatever, it's not the same as 30 minutes Peppa Pig. Yeah. So for me, it's balance and then exposure to and Paw Patrol. Yeah.
Thank heaven some of us had babies long time ago.
This
TV.
Has
Yeah.
been an interesting conversation and a very pertinent one in our world today. So digital devices are an integral part of our society, of our world today. There is no escaping it, that's just a fact. But we've got to be aware that there is a lot to gain from it. There's a lot of positives and benefits, as we've discussed on the show. But in hindsight, it can also go bad. There are dire consequences if misused or abused. So as parents or as a community, our responsibility is to supervise and to be intentional about the quality of applications that our children are exposed to on these apps. Be strict about what you expose your child to, because we don't want them getting addicted, right?
Yes.
On the next episode of Bump Love, we will speak to a tech guru who has created a positive digital space for children. So share with us how you are using technology, how you're incorporating technology in your homes. See you next time on Bump Love.